a hypnotist? This is a question I get asked often. People want to know, can you really make money as a hypnotist? And it is the wrong question that they are asking. I'm just making sure that everything is streaming properly. And we will get going here in just a minute. Really? All right, let me see if I can mute this. Wrong. Okay. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Good to see you here.
Oh, good to see you.
Awesome. Is my volume good?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay. Fantastic. First time I've ever done this like this before, but we will see just exactly how it goes. So, fantastic. Can you earn money or make money as a hypnotist? And this is something that I get asked a lot, but it's actually the wrong question. The right question would be, how can I help people with hypnosis and earn an income, be profitable without burning out? That is the secret, and that's the key. And most people don't ask that question because most people are taught from the standpoint of what I call the freelancer. And this is the way that I was taught to be a freelancer. You go rent an office, you hang out your shingle, and it's like, hey, I have hypnosis. Here's how much I charge. And I can help you with everything: smoking, weight, nail biting, hair pulling, confidence, speaking on stage, pregnancy, gut, you name it. It was all dumped into the melting pot. Now, before we dive into, can you earn money as a hypnotist, there's something else that we have to think about here. And that something else is, what is your mindset? Because mindset is going to be huge in this. And I'm going to give you an example of why I was just curious. I pulled up the math before I decided to start this. When I started out in 2013, 2014, I was taught charge 125, 150 for an hour and 15 minutes, give or take. You can go to Psychology Today, see the average of what everybody else is charging in your area, and charge in the middle. First piece of advice: never charge in the deadly middle. It's called the deadly middle for a reason. But I wanted to see the math, because this is unfortunately where social workers and counselors get stuck and they end up burnt out. And this is why hypnosis is a great way, if you're a counselor or a therapist, to supplement your income with hypnosis with people that aren't billable under diagnosis. In 2014, that $150 that I was taught to charge per hour and 15-minute session, you want to even take a guess what today's equivalent of that $150 is? It's $205. So today, charge $205 to be earning the equivalent of $150 entry level in 2014. So the first thing we have to think about is money mindset. What is our mindset? Because we've got to feel comfortable charging people when it comes to earning money. Because if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to make gross revenue $5,000 a month. Let's just call it a nice even 5,000. If you're charging $100 a session, that's 50 client sessions. Am I doing my math right? 50 client sessions a month, which means you're seeing 12.5 client sessions a week. I do my sessions at 90 minutes because I'm not reading a script. People who do scripts, an hour and 15 minutes is more than sufficient. but I'm not doing scripts. I'm doing root cause work. So that's 90 minutes. After I wrap up with a client, I need to take care of their paperwork. I might need to go to the bathroom. I might need to grab a bite to eat, have to have a lunch break at some point in time, and just generally breathe in between. So that 90 minutes becomes 2 hours. But if you're doing an hour and 15, that hour and 15 might become an hour and 45 minutes. So then you're looking at about 26 hours of your week just in clients. Now, if you're doing scripts or you're using any kind of techniques where you need to write scripts, you need to prepare, you need to create session plans, you're doing homework, you're cutting them custom audios. I used to do that. I was taught record your clients a custom audio or record that session and cut out the audio and put music behind it, burn them a CD. We don't have CDs anymore, but if you upload it online somewhere, they can download it. All of those little things that we do, they add up in time. So you can take that 26 hours and you can now easily make that 32 hours a week, because they may be emailing you, they may call you. That's just in client work. And now what you have left is 8 hours to answer the phone and do phone consults, to answer your emails, to do marketing. So when you look at what you're pricing, you have to think about that. So if you want to make $5,000 a month and you don't want to burn out, $100 a session it's off the table. And people will say, but everybody deserves help. Yes, everybody deserves help. And we will get to that. But not everyone is going to be able to pay your fee. There is always, I don't care how much you charge, unless you want to do like $1 million a month retainer, there's always going to be someone who charges less than you. There's always going to be someone that charges more than you. There's always going to be someone who cannot pay what you're charging. I've had people who wanted my help who couldn't pay me $50 a session when I used to do sliding scale, when I did face-to-face. That stuff, if we're going to be profitable and sustainable and not burn out, we've got to work through that. Because if we want to help people without burning out, we have to be able to take care of ourselves. So for my graduates, I recommend that they start entry level at 200 a session. Let me grab my eraser. At 200 a session, because I recommend they do 90-minute sessions. Maybe when they're brand new, maybe 2 hours for the first session, because they're getting the hang of interviewing the client, doing a hypnosis pre-talk. And we don't want to be rushed, because when we feel rushed, they pick up on that. So at 200 a session, well, now that's 25 spots in a month. You divide that by 4 weeks, and you're down to about 7-8 hours of client care. It's 4.5 client sessions a week. So now you're down to about 10 hours. And if you're using a hypnosis system that gives you the ability that you don't have to recreate the wheel and the client plan every time you get a new client with a new issue, you get your time back. Now, in the first few weeks and the first few months, the first few clients, you're still going to prepare before sessions. It's what anyone does. Even surgeons will prepare before they do a surgery until they're experienced that it's just old hat. When you have a process, you accelerate this. if you're having to learn language patterns and different custom ways of addressing each client, your learning curve is very steep and it's long until you get to mastery. Whereas you have a process that happens pretty quickly. So you can spend about 10 hours when you have a process where you don't need to burn hypnosis audios. You don't need to write scripts for every client. And then you have that 10 hours. Now, what do you do? Let's say you wanted to work 40 hours a week. Let's say 40 hours a week was good for you in your business. What are you doing with the other 30 hours? Well, you're going to be doing those sales calls or consults on the phone with people. That has to happen. That's how you bring people in. They have to book in. And you spend part of your time learning to do that very well, because your success depends upon your ability to have that conversation with someone and to communicate to them how what you do as a hypnotist can transform their life. Nobody reaches out to the hypnotist because they want hypnosis. They reach out to the hypnotist because something is frustrating them to the point that they can't take it anymore. They've tried everything else, and you are the last wild, crazy option they have left. That's changing, but up until now, the last few years, that's the way that it's been. It's becoming more mainstream, and we're about to go into a boom with hypnosis. But when you have those 10 hours, and now let's say you're doing another 10 hours of calls with people, you're networking. There are a few ways to bring people into your business. I don't recommend doing just one way. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. At some point, due to some glitch or choice or decision, the band will stop playing. And it might only be temporary. It will only be temporary if you think fast on your feet. But you can run ads. You can do networking and get to know people and get referrals. Or you can do it organic. And organic is through the way, that's what most people talk about on social media. And it's part networking, but there's networking to get referrals, to get access to other people's audiences and groups. For example, if you're face-to-face somewhere, go to the local gym, network with the gym and say, hey, do you want to get together? We can do this thing. And, people who come through me for hypnosis, I can recommend your gym. And, you can let me put up a flyer about hypnosis to, look better when they're doing their bodybuilding competition or lose weight or whatever the case may be. And you get those cross referrals. Or I'm going to be doing a workshop in a couple of months on getting medical referrals, because that's where the hypnosis industry boom is coming in. I spent 25 years in healthcare, 15 of it in an operating room behind the drape, hearing the surgeons talk, working in a GI center, hearing the doctors talk. And I heard who they spoke positively about and who they spoke negatively about and who they would let back in their office and who they would never refer to. So I bring all of that in there. And then there's literally organic social media, posting on all the different social channels. Now I'll say, even if you're not going to post organically on social media to market your business absolutely must have some sort of a social media presence this day and age. People will go search you. Instagram comes up in search engines. LinkedIn comes up in search engines. TikTok comes up in search engines. Those things will happen. So as you start building your business, if you don't want to burn out, you need to look at all the different ways you can help people. And then you get to make some decisions. Because if you're always waiting for the one-on-one client, and your one-on-one client is 4 to 6 sessions, as soon as you've signed that client, you have to go looking for the next client. And you have to go looking for the next client. And then you have to go looking for the next client. Again, either through ads, organic networking, or referral. But what I'm saying is that revenue is not consistent It's dependent on you closing a call on a consult and getting someone to book in. Which brings me to a second problem people run into when they're new as a hypnotist and their money mindset is not right. And they get into this, well, I should be able to help everybody. Everybody should be able to access hypnosis. People will get into scarcity mindset. They will start cutting their prices, or they will start taking on clients who are not going to succeed. And there are some clues that we have that indicate that people will not succeed with hypnosis, and it has to do with their mindset going into hypnosis. Maybe they're not even the one that wants to change. Maybe it's a family member that wants them to change. So we get into this place of desperation booking clients, and you don't want that. But when you think about hypnosis and you think about what you learn in hypnosis, in the Elite Hypno Pro training, we're learning about the common areas. We have a whole new self-study. The common areas that 98% of people get caught up on. There's mandatory reading and some questions around that now, so that people can understand you don't need to be a psychotherapist, psychiatrist, a psychologist to see where people get caught up. A lot of it is very much common sense. So you will find yourself talking to your clients, asking them questions around certain areas of their life, and they may not have ever thought about it. And you may find yourself explaining something like, what does it mean to be attached? Like when we get attached to things and we have those expectations, what does that mean? As you find yourself talking about these things, you can do short audio recordings. A lot of people get hung up, oh my God, I don't want to record video. I hated myself on video when I started out. It's normal, it's natural. You get used to it. When you realize that people seeing your face and hearing your voice makes you money, you like to do more of it when you're being of service to people. But you can take this collection of these audio recordings and you can create a membership, or you can do individual master classes for people that bring in money. Why am I bringing this up? If you have to see clients face to face all the time to make money, then as soon as you take a day off, business stops. We don't want that. That's not a business. That is freelance. That is freelance services. When you have a business, the business will have a system that allows you to generate money, income, profit, while you help people through the use of hypnosis. So there are those common areas that, let's say you specialize in weight loss. Sharon is in the Zoom room. Sharon is a functional medicine practitioner. She specializes in mitochondrial health, sunlight. She helps people who want to increase their vitality and longevity through life. So she would record relevant topics that she catches herself talking to all of her clients about, and then she can put that in a membership area, or she can break it down in individual master classes, host it live, and then have it recorded, and then have a way for people to find those things and purchase those things. And then she's bringing in income, and people are getting to know, like, and trust her to invest with her in one-on-one work. So there's always something flowing in and coming into the business to support her, so she doesn't have to be at the center of it all the time. People in Elite Hypno Pro training also, we get into feelings and how feelings drive our behavior. We talk about when feelings are valid in the moment, when feelings indicate there's a past issue that's never been addressed. And what do people do with that when it happens? When they're in their feelings and they can't do something healthy with it in the moment, what do they do? September 9th, I have a masterclass coming up called Resonance 2.0. And we're going to go over this. And then Tina, a hypnotist in my practice, is going to take people through a self-hypnosis, introduce them to a self-hypnosis that uses resonance to begin to clear those things out. And then that will be there. And so people get an actual taste of what it is to work with me. You can create that membership. People can come in month to month on memberships. There may be people who don't want to do one-on-one with you. And this is where I had a hard lesson to learn. I was telling somebody the other day, I missed a golden opportunity in 2020 because my belief in my heart, I talked about attachment, was attached to the big transformations that people get when they do this one-on-one root cause work. And someone reached out to me and said, you need to start a hypnosis membership and you need to start it right now. I said, yeah, but I don't feel like I can ethically do that because it doesn't get them the transformation. Well, it might get them the transformation they wanted. It might not get them the transformation I wanted for them, but that's none of my business. And when you want people to refer to you and send people back to you, by always putting what they want first instead of what you believe they should want and the transformation you believe they should have. Now, sometimes these really big transformations happen, but they happen as a byproduct of working on what the client works on. So think about how you're approaching people when it comes to hypnosis. Think about what it is that you really want. And if you want to be profitable as a hypnotist, you've got to work on your mindset and how you're pricing clients. Right now, I charge $1,500 a session. That's what it costs to work with me right now. And I don't charge by the session, I charge by the transformation. So there are two ways people can work with me. It's if it's something that's pretty straightforward, or if we're going for a full identity overhaul. Those two things look very different. And one costs 3 times as much as the other. But it doesn't matter what I charge my clients. What matters is who do you want to serve? And what is the transformation you're getting for people? And what is the value of that transformation? Because my new grads, I tell them $200 a session because I know the work that they're doing. And I know that even as somebody new who hasn't fully taken the training wheels off yet, I know the results that they can get when they're brand new. And it's absolutely that valuable or even more. So think about your money mindset. From the beginning, what is the life that you want? Do you want to see clients 32 hours a week and then have to spend another 30 on top of that building your business? Do you want to take sliding scale at $25 and $50 and be seeing clients 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then building your business on top of it? Or do you want a business where you can create something in the future that serves people that perhaps can't afford to work with you one-on-one, but they still get benefit? But you can charge enough so that not only can you take care of your clients, but you can focus time on improving upon what you do, excelling at what you do, and also having time to be with your family, your kids. Maybe you have an aging parent like I do, and you need that free time to make sure that they're okay and to check on them. Maybe you just want to be able to make $5,000 a month and only work 4 days a week. Work on your money mindset. Remember, your business works for you, and hypnosis is the modality that you provide transformation through that business. If you want to be profitable and you don't want burnout, you want a business model, not a freelance model. Because if you're always chasing clients, you're going to be stressed out. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be chasing certifications, and you're going to be looking for all the different ways that you can bring in more money. And then instead of being focused on pouring into your clients to a healthy degree, not being over giver, but pouring into your clients and pouring into yourself, you're going to be burnt out. So that's the thing I would look at. That's the question you should be asking. What does it look like? And then even when you're new, every decision you make as you go through your business, as you're speaking to clients, and you're like, oh my gosh, I find myself talking about this over and over. Let me create a masterclass. Let me create a workshop. How can I put this out there so that people can help themselves and it doesn't have to be me directly? And then when you have one-on-one clients, you can have a special members area just for them, or some hidden videos on YouTube, however you choose to do it. You don't have to have an online course to be very profitable at this. Say, okay, I want you to go watch this video. After our session today, go watch this video. And then you're not exhausting yourself. So before we hop off, that's what I had to share today. Sharon, did you have a question? Anything you wanted to add?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for being on, everybody. I'll see you next time. This may become a weekly thing. This is a spur of the moment, but I enjoyed it, and I will catch you all next time. If you're interested in Resonance 2.0, it's pennychiasson.com/resonance. Or if you look in the description of the video, you can get the details for the next training. Self-study is ongoing right now, and the intensive is September 21st through the 27th, and I'd love to see you there. If you're just a soul-led person and you're wanting to create impact with purpose. Catch you all then.